Hey up everybody, my name's Joshua Morrison, director of Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence, and today I want to talk a little bit about closing down a pub because it's something that I've done for probably about 5 years now and I quite enjoy it. Right? It's fun seeing the life of the pub slowly fizzle out and sort of become empty, right? And then you're the final person there and you flick off the lights and then you lock the door and then you go, right? I just find it kind of satisfying just seeing the people slowly filter out, right? And if people don't filter out slowly, then you kind of have to start using your forcefulness, right? And that's where sort of the lessons in confidence sort of thing can come from, because I have to be quite forceful with people sometimes. Be like, I remember one time there were these old fellas, must have been about sort of 70, right? There was a group and they weren't regulars, and they just weren't leaving. I kept telling them, put your cups in these plastics, right, and go, but they wouldn't do it. And eventually I was like, get out the pub, right? And then after that they still didn't go. I went up to them, I put the cups down, I was like, I shouldn't have to talk to you like your children, right? I should not have to talk to you like your children, because it's just getting ridiculous, this, right? We shut half an hour ago, right? This half an hour while I'm still here being voted is meant to be spent me sort of cleaning tables and stuff. Instead it's spent here babysitting you, right? I was really fucking annoyed with them, and I had to talk to them like I was their fucking mum, right? That was just ridiculous. Then you got other times when people are just sort of taking the piss, and you just have to be quite forceful with them and just get out of the pub, all right? And you kind of scream a little bit. You're like, all right guys, I'm not going to scream because the house is literally right there. It's like, right guys, everybody out now please. You know, you kind of go like that. You got to be really stern with people, and I really like that. I like the ability to be correct in those sort of circumstances by default, where I get to be annoyed at people, if that makes sense, right? Because I'm a little bit conflict averse. It freaks me out a little bit, being in conflict with people, right? Because I'm always sort of doubting myself and thinking, oh, was I wrong there, right? But every time when I've been a bartender, right, I have to tell someone off, I'm in the right. No exceptions, right? And I find that just sort of satisfying, because it's really good for building your own confidence, right? It just is by default, because you're getting yourself accustomed to conflict scenarios, right? And the more that you do that, and the more you become aware of yourself and your attitude in various conflicts. I'm not going to say I handled every single conflict perfectly. However, there have been no conflicts where I was the one at fault and they were the one in the right, right? That's the key that I'm trying to get across here, is that even though I might have been in the right in all the situations, I might not have handled them all perfectly, right? Maybe I wasn't aggressive enough, right? There's very rarely, I don't think ever have I ever been too aggressive, or anyone that I've ever worked with has been too aggressive with someone. But there's been plenty of times where timidness and shyness and being afraid of talking to people kind of gets in the way. And it's natural at the end of the day, but pubs tend to hire young people that tend to be quite shy, and it's kind of natural that they're not going to be super comfortable in this situation. And that's why I think pub jobs are really good for really young people that are just getting into the workforce, right? Because it helps put them into these uncomfortable situations where they need to assert themselves, right? So I find that quite satisfying. Let's get into the sort of specifics of what it is you actually do when you close. You might have noticed I'm just twiddling with these, right? These are bar mats, right? We get them shipped in by the fucking truckload, right? Honestly, we got so many of them. Apparently they cost 0.03 pence to make. We get them for free from various, in this case, Jägermeister. They must have sent us a load of free ones for promotional material, because they got adverts on them. We've got ones for port scratchings and stuff as well. And that's just pure advertising for them. So if you're interested in advertising yourself, bar mat might not be a terrible idea. If you got one that looked kind of kooky, people would point at it. There have been times where I've noticed people point at the bar mats and make a joke out of them, right? Because a lot of, for instance, the port scratchings ones, they have little things that this is Mr. Never, it's never my round sort of thing. I remember someone pointing and it was like, oh, that's this guy over here, right? So the marketing there does work, right? So what you do first is once it's sort of getting to about an hour before everyone's meant to be out, you start taking all the bar mats off, right? These aren't the bar mats, I mean the mats that are on the bar, right? They're meant to soak up alcohol. So you take those and you put them in the glass washer, which is now it's just an everything washer. You just chuck everything in there at this point. So you put them in there, right? And then different places do it differently, but Generally, you put them somewhere to dry out. In my case, usually it's on the radiator somewhere, right? But your mileage may vary when it comes to that. Your mileage may vary when it comes to a few of these things, right? Next up, you sort of clean up a load of tables and you're putting glasses away while you're doing it, and slowly your glass shelves start to fill up as that kind of happens, right? At this point, people are slowly filtering out the pub. You call last orders. You have your final little rush, if you even get a rush. You might have been working somewhere it's completely dead and it's just like, you don't even really need to call last orders, you just kind of slowly stop. Which I like that. It's fun doing that. When it's so dead, you kind of just got time to relax a little bit, because with me, all the work that I do, right, and always have done, it's so constantly active where I have to be constantly on, you know, that being at work is almost my relaxation time, right, where I can just sit back and like not check my phone or anything like that, and just observe the pub that's around me and just see everything's kind of going fine. There's not really much I need to do for the next sort of 15 minutes. Can't really go for a fag because there's no one to cover me, but I'll just stand there, you know. So you have that, right? You do your last orders. At this point, you take the nozzles off. You take the nozzles off the things. The taps, right? You take the nozzles off the taps, and then you usually put them in soda water. You get a glass of soda water, and then after you filled the soda water with all the taps nozzles in it, right? Then you take the nozzle off the Coke lemonade fucking dispenser, right? And then you put that in there as well. Stick that to one side, and then you take all the trays that are underneath the taps, right? And then you put those in the glass washer. Make sure you empty them, by the way. Then you put that in the glass washer, and you take that, and then you put it back. And at this point, most stuff is clear. You've been wiping tables throughout all of this as people sort of disappear, right? And you've probably got different sections of your pub. Tend to handle them one at a time is the best way of doing it. And then what do? Close the smoking area if you have one. Turn like various little lights off, little things that need to be done. They'll be specific to your pub. Some places, when you take the nozzles off, they also want you to put cling film over all the taps, which I find a little bit weird. I talked to my mum, who she used to work in a pub, and apparently the taking the nozzles off the taps is like some kind of new thing. Apparently I didn't used to do that. I don't really see why I need to do it. I don't really understand how it clears it. Do it once in a while. Maybe do it like once a month or something like that. I don't see why it has to be done all the time. I don't see why half this stuff needs to be done. Oh yeah, also, if some places you'll take all the ashtrays and you just empty them out into a big ashtray, and then you put all the ashtrays. Don't put them through the wash, right? Because all the ash is going to clog up the machine. What you do is you just rinse them, right? And then just wipe them down with some bleach, if you can be asked, and then just chuck them like on one side, let them dry out overnight, and then whoever comes in the morning just puts them out, right? What else do you do? Some places you put a chain on the back door, some places you don't, some places have like a big firm lock. I like the ones with the chain because it's fun getting the chain out, and it's like everyone knows, like, right, the pub's coming to a close now. I'm just trying to make sure I'm still in focus. I'm recording this at f1.4 aperture, so I might be sort of wobbling in and out of focus, but makes it bright. So like I'm a ISO, like native ISOer, right? And considering it's a dead of night, I'm pretty happy with that. Anyway, then you turn the lights off of the fridge. You're meant to do a what's called a stock take. Not stock take. What the fuck is it called? Where you go into the cellar and you get all the bottles that you need, right? I think it's a stock take. Oh, what the fuck's the word for it? I know what the word for it is, and I've just completely forgotten. Right? Let's call it a stock take for now. Right? Usually, what you'll do, if it's a bigger place, you'll get a sheet of paper. Usually, you get that the receipt till you just press until it gives you a load of paper. You get a pen, and you put it up to each fridge, and you go, right, we need 4 tonic waters, we need 6 tomato juices, we need 6 Heineken Zeros, right? 7 now. Right, so what you do then, you go into the cellar, you get all of those bits, and you come back up, you put them all in the fridge. Now basically everything is done. Now it's kind of just a case of waiting for the last few people to sort of leave. Like, if it's before actual closing time, you can't tell them to leave. if it's getting like, but you can sort of tell them like, we're going to be closing soon, you know. So you start off soft and then you get a little bit more firm, right? And then after it's closing time, right? Because closing time doesn't literally mean every single person out of the pub right now. At least in every pub that I've ever worked in. Again, your mileage may vary of all of this, but in that in particular, I think that then what happens generally, you're just waiting for the last few people to fuck off. And then once they've all fucked off, then you kind of get your bag, get your coat, shut the lights off, and then you go. So that's kind of the nature of shutting down a pub. You'll usually come out of it with about 15 of these in your fucking pocket, right? And then what else happens? You go home, get the bus, get in at about 1 in the morning, have a sad sort of ready meal because you're too exhausted to cook, go to sleep, wake up, and then do it again. Most pubs that I've worked at that are corporate ones, that I don't really like the corporate ones, they do this weird thing where they call you part-time. I remember I was on one job, it was in central London, it was called the White Swan in Pimlico or somewhere like that. And yeah, I'm just naming it fell out because it pissed me off this. I was meant to be part-time, right? And they would have me doing these 4-5 hour shifts, right? It's a fucking bastarding place to get to, right? I asked them if I could have longer shifts, said no. I'd be doing like 10, 11 days in a row. Then I get 1 day off, and another 10, 11 days. And it's like, I'm always doing the close here. Where am I supposed to have a life? Where am I supposed to do anything, right? Where am I supposed to get a decent night's sleep, right? 10 days in a row. And then I spoke to people, right? And they were like, oh yeah, that's nothing. The chef, he does like 30 days in a row. It's like, what the fuck? That's not even legal, by the way. I found that out. Apparently what I was on was like the bare minimum of legal, right? So yeah, you got stuff like that. There's loads of exploitative practices in the pub industry, just like there is in any industry, right? And I think what people need to do is unionize, right? I think we need to have some kind of, like maybe, I don't know the ins and outs, but I know that there's a food and catering sort of one for the general service industry. I think it's called like Big Red or something like that. And there's another one called like ACF or something like that. I can't remember the names of them. But I remember I joined one and then I got fired right afterwards, very suspiciously, which is a story for another day, fun, actually. I'm not going to include that one here because I haven't really fought my way through it. But yeah, what happens then is you go home, join a union, get fired, get another job. Oh yeah, and like, yeah, that's basically it really. So yeah, there's loads of exploitative practices. I think what we need is a dedicated pub union, right, that sorts all of this stuff out so that we can get better rights for bartenders and kitchen staff in pubs in particular. Because I think it's different compared to the general service industry. Or maybe it's similar, but it's just, you want something specific. So yeah. Hey, how's it going? Right. So yeah, that's going to be it from me. Thank you very much for watching this video, everybody. Hope you managed to get something out of it. Leave your comments below if you work in a pub. Funny enough, those were some punters that were just in. Nice guys. Yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section thingy below. If you're a bartender, how do you do it in your pub? I know I didn't explain it vastly well, but I hope you kind of got a bit of the gist of it in a real world sense and not, some sort of corporate video going, hey there, first off, you need to make sure that you provide excellent customer service or whatever, it's like, fuck off. So, yeah, this is going to be it from me. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. And yeah, leave your comments below. I'm hoping that I can get another bit of firework just to close the video out because that'd be kind of fun. You've been noticing there's these giant fucking bangs like I'm in a war zone over here. That's because there's fireworks over here because it's Diwali, I think. And there was one there, right? It's like I'm in the Ukraine or something. Not the Ukraine, just Ukraine natural, normal, because I brought politics into it, fuck. Anyway, take care everybody, and bye-bye. I'm focusing it because I'm hoping I can get some, if I'm not going to get a firework, I'm just going to do one of these, like a slow pan up. Imagine it says sort of, thanks for watching here where my hand is, where that little sort of weird wispy sort of pink thing is. Imagine there's a thanks for watching sign there. There's not going to be one. Peace.